Alrighty, so our warm up for today, if something is consistent, does it have a high or low mean absolute deviation? Well, if something is consistent, that means it has low variance. You're doing the same thing over and over and over again. So we're going to say that's a low mean absolute deviation. So low variance, low mean absolute deviation means we're very consistent. And then here are our homework answers. Go ahead and check your first four. 5, 6, and 7. 8, 9, 10, 11. 12, 13. If you said 9/10 for number 13, that's totally fine as a fraction. Okay, so today we are going to be calculating lines of best fit and using them to make predictions. So here are all of our calculator steps, which I'll be going through with you in a second. But when you're trying to calculate the line of best fit, the first thing you're going to do is clear all lists. So you're going to hit second plus 4, enter. Then we're going to enter our list by going stat, enter, enter. You're going to put your x values in list 1, y values in list 2. Then to exit that, you can hit second mode. Then you're going to calculate it by doing stat, calc, 4, and then enter till the screen changes, and then you'll get your equation. So here's our first problem. It says calculate and graph a line of best fit for the following scatter plot. Using the line of best fit, predict how many tomatoes would grow with 8 hours of sunlight. Okay, when there is no line of best fit given to you, you need to calculate it. You have to take all of your data points, every single one of them, and plug it into the calculator. So here's how this is going to go. The first thing I'm going to do is write out my ordered pairs. I know this is kind of hard to tell exactly what number they are, but your best estimate will be perfectly fine. So I said this dot's halfway between 0 and 5, so I went with 1, 3. This one was between 5 and 10, so I did 2, 7. This one was like right above 10, so I said 3, 11. Again, halfway between 5 and 10, so this was 4, 7. Halfway between 10 and 15, that was 5, 13. And halfway between 15 and 20 was 6, 17. So now that we have these ordered pairs, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and enter them into the calculator. I'll show you what we're going to do with that. And then we're going to get our equation for the line of best fit. So I'm pulling up the star calculator just so I can show you what it would look like on the calculator. So the first thing we need to do is to clear our list. And to do that, you're going to do second plus, we want the fourth option of the list. So I'm going to hit 4 and then hit enter. You get this message that says clear all lists done. Next thing we're going to do is go to stat. We want to be on the edit menu. So I'm just going to hit enter. We want to put our x values in list 1, y values in list 2. So our x values were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So I've got my x values in list 1. Then we're going to right arrow over and we're going to put our y values in list 2. So the first y value was 3. Then we had 7, then 11, then 7 again, 13, and we had 17. Now, this is super important. You want to make sure that the values in list 1 and list 2, they match. They match up. You should have the same number in list 1 as you do in list 2. Okay, once I've got them entered, I'm going to hit stat again. This time I'm going to arrow over to calculate. Again, we want option number 4, so I'm going to press 4. Then I'm going to hit enter until the screen changes. And I get my equation. So this is y equals ax plus b. A is your slope, b is your y-intercept. So my slope is 2.4, and my y-intercept, I'm going to go ahead and round that to the hundredths place. So I'm going to say this is 1.27. So if I go back here, there's my equation, y equals 2.4x plus 1.27. And now the question actually asked me to predict how many tomatoes will grow in 8 hours of sunlight. Well, hours of sunlight was my x value, so I'm going to plug in 8 in place of x. Remember, your slope is always being multiplied by x, so I'm going to say 2.4 times 8 plus 1.27. I plug that in my calculator, I get 20.47. Now, since we're talking about number of tomatoes, I'm going to round that up to 21 because we don't have part of a tomato. So that would be 21 tomatoes. And then I sketched my line of best fit here. It is a good line of best fit. It goes pretty much straight through the middle. We've got 3 points above, 3 points below. So the previous example, there was no line of best fit drawn for you. So I had to enter all of my data points into the calculator to get my equation. In this example, I already have a line of best fit drawn for you. So to get the equation for the line of best fit, I'm going to choose 2 perfect points off that line. So the first one I'm going to choose is over here. We have 680. It's a perfect point on the line. I've got another one down here at 260. So I'm going to use these 2 points to calculate my slope and my y-intercept to get my equation. So I'm going to put those 2 points, put those 2 points in a table. So we have 260 and 680. And then we're going to calculate the change in y over the change in x. Well, to go from 60 to 80, I add 20. To go from 2 to 6, I add 4. So we have 20 over 4, which simplifies to 5. So my slope is 5. Now we are going to go ahead and calculate the y-intercept, or our b value. So I went ahead and plugged in my slope, and now I have y equals 5x plus b. Well, I want to solve for b, but I have too many variables, so I'm going to go back to my first point here and take my 2 and 60 and plug them in for x and y. So I plugged in 60 for y and 2 for x, and I'm going to go ahead and solve this like an equation for b. 5 times 2 is 10, so I get 60 is equal to 10 plus b. I'm going to subtract 10 from both sides, so I get 50 is equal to b. Well, now I have my whole equation, y equals 5x plus 50, and I can use this to make a prediction if we're talking about an exam grade of a 70. Well, an exam grade of a 70, that was our y value, so I'm going to plug in 70 in place of y. Then I'll solve for x, so I'll subtract 50 from both sides, so I get 20 is equal to 5x. Divide by 5 on both sides, x is equal to 4. You could have also actually seen that on the graph. If I come over here to 70, it touches the line perfectly at 4. But that's not always the case because sometimes the thing I ask you about is off of the grid. So in this case, it worked out. In the other cases, we may have to plug it in. All right, for the rest of class, you're going to be working on 3-7. It is due tomorrow, your homework, and you have a test on Friday. Thank you very much.